Hello again and welcome to Gabbett Media. I'm Grant Abbott and I'm talking about freelancing and freelance shenanigans. And today I'm going to talk about saying no to clients, a tricky one. And I know we all get flattered when we get asked to or contacted for a job. I certainly was just a few days ago. And there's a right time, there's right jobs to say yes to, and there's certainly wrong jobs for you. So we're going to discuss that today. So when should you say no to clients and spotting jobs that can go wrong from the start? I've got a sort of scenario here and you can sort of decide for yourself whether I should have taken this job on or not. So I was contacted by a company and they wanted an animation of a still lion. So already a quite complex job. In fact, you can probably tell what's going to happen because I'm talking about saying no to clients. So spoiler alert there. Anyway, I'll try and focus. Right, so they wanted to run through a forest for about 20 to 25 seconds, and that's pretty much all I had. Oh, and then they come across a city, and it's like a film intro. Is that a film intro? It's sort of a branding logo thing that you see, like that big lion that roars. I think that's where they got their inspiration. Warner Brothers. Is that Warner Brothers? Anyway, I'm sure you can figure that out for yourself. I sent back saying, "Oh, thanks for taking interest. You've always got to be positive. I'm always positive, and I was actually quite excited about the job. I thought lions, what's not to like?" So contacted them back saying, "I need more information." Exactly what's the lion doing? What sort of quality do you want the lion? And just general questions like that. So get as much information from the client as you can before saying yes or no, of course. And then they said, we want it looking similar to the recent Jungle Book movie. So again, I was very flattered, thinking, wow, you've contacted me to do something similar to the Jungle Book. So obviously alarm bells were ringing at that point, and I thought this is probably not going to happen, but it does sound fun. So always again on the positive, I said I don't think I can really produce that sort of quality. They have a team of people. I didn't suggest it was because I couldn't actually do it. It's because I don't have a team. That's why I can't do the Jungle Book. So they need a team of people. And then I listed all the things that you need to do. You need to sculpt, retopology, texture, although it's steel, so it wouldn't be too bad texturing, I don't think. Texture, skin, rig, animate. No, hang on, I'm getting the order wrong. Rig, skin, animate. I've got it listed here, so I should get it right. And composite. And then build a jungle to composite this line into. So it didn't put them off. So I wasn't trying to put them off. I was just trying to be clear about what the expectations ought to be. And I think sometimes people don't know exactly what they want. And what they're just sort of thinking, that will look cool, go find someone that does it. And then they saw my ArtStation, I think, maybe even the YouTube channel. So that's a good way of advertising, ArtStation and YouTube. And they've contacted me, which is great. So I'm getting back to them, and so I've informed them and listed the process. And it actually got slightly tougher than that, because I said what I really need is a storyboard to know exactly the animation and how we're going to link up, because do I need to do any camera tracking if they've got some footage of the forest, or do they want me to build the whole forest? That would take ages and ages. Maybe I need to enlist the skills of RC12 there with his forest. Looks pretty good. Maybe I could say, can I have your forest please, and pay them for that. So there are lots of issues, and again, I haven't put them off, and I didn't completely put them off, because I don't think that's good to just say, no way mate. I don't know why you'd say it like that, but just say no way, and then just cut all ties, because they don't know what the process is. And I see lots of trades and sort of joke memes about clients, and the client wanted this, what an idiot. But clients don't know what they want sometimes, and they don't know the difficulties and how tough it can be to do visual effects. They see something on television, or they see something in films, and they expect that you can do it as a digital artist. So don't blame the clients for not understanding. You need to inform them. So obviously then there's budget issues. So they said what the budget was, and I thought that's again pretty impossible because of the amount of work it needs, and you need to break it down. You can't just say that's too little. You need to say that's too little because, and be really clear about what aspects and how long they take, so that they can understand your process and understand your role. So I have actually had experience of this sort of thing before, and I took on a job that was a bit beyond me, and the client didn't really understand what was involved in the process. And I think the client was kind of clever at dealing with people, and I was quite naive at that time. This was a long time ago when I was first getting into Blender, and I was flattered to be offered the job. And it was a great project, but it was extremely stressful because I was sort of desperate to impress and do well with this project, and they kept making more and more demands, and we didn't set it out from the beginning, and all those sort of things. So I've experienced and I know how stressful these jobs can be. So these people have big expectations. You can't necessarily just take on the jobs. I think you know where I'm going. I'm just sort of looking at my notes thinking that's not making sense. But it's the stresses that are going to be difficult. So there's going to be stress points, and you're going to have to communicate and work those out, and it's always going to happen. And trying to set out your stall from the beginning is the important bit. So communicate exactly how long these things are likely to take you, and how much they're likely to cost, and the difficulties you're going to come across as well. The problem is, if you're inexperienced, you can't see those difficulties. You think, yeah, that should be fine, no problem there, and away we go. And then when you get to something like the animation and you're a little bit, let's say, inexperienced at that, which, to be fair, I'm a little bit inexperienced when it comes to animation, hence animation coming up, because I want to practice that, I want to get better. And sometimes you take these jobs on. It used to be sort of me and my friends, when we first started our filming company, our policy was say yes to everything and then figure out how to do it later, which is a very bad approach, because you really are massively stressed, and you can pretty much figure out anything, generally speaking, but it just takes you time to do that, and we were sort of pulling all-nighters all the time trying to figure out how to do stuff. So it wasn't the best for us, but it was a good experience, and maybe when you're young you can do that sort of thing, but I'm too old for this, man, as they say in films. What am I going on? Anyway, so it's always flattering to be offered these jobs, but you really need to consider whether you are the person to take that on or not. And I've got a sort of few scenarios for you. So are you these type of people? One, you've got to know that you mustn't take on their stress. So they've been asked to do this by a company. That they're not directly the company, the film company. They've been asked to do it and work it for the company. So don't take on their stress and say, yes, I'll do everything you want me to do. Say the bits that you want to do and you know you can do, if that makes sense. So for me, I know I can sculpt a lion, at least I've done it lots before. I would like to animate a lion, but I've not done many forests, and I know my computer's not particularly able to handle that sort of thing if I'm building lots of particles, grass, hair plugins and all that sort of thing. So I know that's going to be really tough, and if I'm going to take on one thing that's fairly new to me, not that I haven't done animation before, but I'm not as good at animation as I am at sculpting, let's say. So I know that's going to be my challenge bit, and things like the rigging and stuff like that. So okay, I'll work on the line, and we need to talk about budget. So I've gone back to them with that sort of scenario. But so be very clear about what you can do and what you can offer them, but don't take on their stresses. Don't say, yes, I'll do everything, and then they're saying, when's it ready by? You need to get this done by such and such, and then you start getting stressed because you've taken on the whole project, and it's your responsibility at that point. So be clear about what the problem points might be and what the breaking points might be. So It does depend a lot on your situation as well. So if you're experienced at this sort of thing, you'd know not to take this job on, basically, because you know that the client hasn't got enough budget to really cover it, and you know you need a team of people of Disney quality standards. Is it Disney that did the Jungle Book? Disney? It must be, yeah, Disney. Anyway, so you know that it's kind of an impossible project. Puts the pressure back on them, I've said that. Say you're happy to take some of the project, which I've said as well, perhaps. So that's what a professional person would do. They'd either take a small bit of the project and say, I'm happy to do that for this amount of money, or just say no. If, let's say, you're in a position where you're not getting much work, this sort of thing can seem very sort of inviting. But actually, I would still not recommend it, because it's highly likely to be very stressful, and it is a job that could kind of break. The client's not happy with this, you need to do it again, and that sort of thing. And then the communication might break down, and you might have to say, no, that's enough, and take no pay, or your sort of only your initial bit that you what is it, 25% or whatever that sometimes you get at the beginning to sort of start you off. Some people manage to negotiate that. It's quite rare, to be honest. You've got to be prepared for the job not to work. So if you are desperate for work, it's not the job for you, because you're going to be really stressed and it could break. That's what I'm trying to say. Are you a perfectionist? Don't take this job on, because there's going to have to be you get compromises, and you're not going to get the quality you want for a certain budget. So if you're a perfectionist, you can't do it. And if you're thinking this is going to be an amazing portfolio piece, you might not want to take that on, because that will be stressful, because you will have to curtail back elements of the project, and they won't look as good as you're hoping. That's debatable, that one. It depends how hard you work and how much time you want to put into this sort of thing. Are you the sort of person that wants everything to go smoothly in jobs? Don't take this project on. Obviously you can tell from the start it's not going to go smoothly, because the budget's not there and they don't have the knowledge of what it takes to do this. So you're informing them all the way. That's never going to go smoothly. The last one is, are you me? Because in my situation, I'm looking at this and saying, cool project. I like the project. So I'm a bit ludicrous in this sense. I've just kept my notes where they should be. And I'm thinking, it's got a lion. I like lions. I like that. I like that idea. It's got animation. I need to practice my animation, so that's going to be fun. It's an impossible project. Bit of a challenge. I like where we're going with this. Low budget, I'm definitely in. I love low budgets. So I'm thinking, I haven't fully decided. I've been back and forth saying, you're going to need to do this, you're going to need to do this. It's going to be very tough. And I'm trying to reiterate these points. And they're very positive, actually. It's just they ignore whenever I say it's going to be tough. And they just say, yeah, that's fine, we'll do that. I'm thinking, okay. So should I take the project on? Comment below, I think, is the question. It's going to be interesting. The main reason I want to take it on is because they've said it's fine for me to document the process on YouTube. So I'm thinking that could be quite fun, could be interesting for viewers out there. If you're still with me, listening to me rambling on. So do comment and say what you think. Should I take this project on? I think in my mind I'm saying yes, I want to take this project on because it's quite fun. There's not often you get paid a minuscule amount to do a sort of lion animated through forests and things like that. So I've said I'd probably do the lion bit. It gets worse because the initial one they said we want this, this and this, but at no point did they say they want the lion roaring. And a roar means they need to open their mouths, which means you need to animate all the facial features, which means probably shape keys and bones for the faces. So it's probably doubling the project time. So already it's gone from one point to this. So you can see the issues you're going to have when they don't realize quite the process and what it takes, which is not their fault, and you can't blame clients for not understanding what the process is. You need to inform them. So in a sense, it's my fault if that element doesn't go right, that I haven't informed them. It's not my fault if the project goes wrong, as long as I've communicated everything and put the stress back on them. So I've demanded a storyboard, so I know exactly how it's going to be animated, and I've demanded sort of other information as well, and I've said about the budget, but they said it's not moving, so and so it's up to me now. I say I don't want to work for that amount of money, or I want some interest, because to be fair, my freelance career isn't a big income of mine. I've got my teaching, I've got my YouTube channel, so I can afford to be in the situation where it may not work, but it's nice to work on something that is paid for and to talk the process through for my YouTube channel. So I'm lucky in that situation. So anyway, I've probably rambled on enough about that, and hopefully you can think about your situations. The main thing with always the main thing with these is good communication. Don't make assumptions about anything. List it, have a detailed record, so emails and that sort of thing, not chat, but emails. And they wanted to Skype me, but actually I'm thinking I don't really like that process because there's no document. I want emails all the time. So that sort of rings alarm bells as well. When they want to talk on the phone, I can understand, because they're sort of salespeople. They want to talk to you in person, not salespeople, but they want to convince you that it's okay, but have a record of everything. So emails, or if you do talk on the phone or on Skype or whatever it might be, then document that afterwards and say, so to be clear, this is what we're doing. So there's some advice there. Don't be like me. Probably don't take on these projects, generally speaking, but understand if you do take on these projects, then it can be very, very tough. Anyway, so do you remember the competition deadline is tomorrow? Well, Sunday, yeah, tomorrow, Monday, the 25th at midnight, GMT. That's my time. And the title of the competition was Perspectives, and you can get your work on the Wall of Fame, so be excited about that. The Wall of Fame, it's getting bigger. Yep, it's getting bigger. Anyway, so I hope you're enjoying these weird ramblings of mine. I do wonder if, I'm always surprised. Thank you very much for those people that are still watching. I really appreciate it, and I'm amazed that you are still listening to me at this point, because I know this was very rambly. It's quite early in the morning for me. It's 8 o'clock. That's not that early, is it? But it feels early. Anyway, I'll see you next time.